Something you need to know about Mr. Brian Adamson is he always brings the heat. He always makes us think, and he's got a real good brain teaser for us today. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great, Mike. Always better when I'm with you, man.
I appreciate that. I don't know if you take the opportunity to look at the comments, but the audience truly loves you being a part of the channel, as you know, I do as well. So thank you for coming back every week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, why don't you kick us off? You brought up a topic today you wanted to talk about. I'll let you take the lead on this. What do you got?
Yeah, so I was reminded last week of just how fruitful relationships are. So much so that, in my opinion, relationships are the real currency, right? The money is a byproduct.
Okay.
And, you know, I made $10,000 Friday, and it's not about the number. I'm just painting a picture from a relationship that started 5 years ago. And I've got a wholesaler in my local market that I was connected to via one of my contractors at that time. And I probably did 50, 60 deals with this guy, Mike. Never met him. If he walked past me today, I couldn't tell you what he looked like.
Okay.
Right. So done 50 transactions with this guy, north of $1 million. And Friday, he ended up wholesaling a couple of deals to two of my students that are in my program. They bought two triplexes from him, and great deals, by the way. And yeah, he wired me 10 grand. And I'm like, how crazy is that? Right? Like to make that kind of money with someone over a 5-year period, and still, like, I kid you not, if he walked past me today, I wouldn't know who he was.
That is amazing. Yeah, so I just want to summarize what I think you're telling our audience, right? You believe in investing in relationships, you treat people well during a relationship. This particular relationship started 5 years ago. You've made each other plenty of money during that time. You connected him with two buyers, and what he said is your relationship is so important to him is he sent you 10 grand, not in the contract. You didn't expect it, but frankly, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if we get out here and we really focus on building good relationships and so let's just go back to the beginning, right?
Right.
How this relationship has evolved into what it is because I did my part as being a credible buyer, and I alleviated a lot of the nuance of him having to go out and find buyers and not know if deals going to get to the closing table and actually fund. And like, I took a lot off of his plate with respects to that. And so because I became a go-to person for him, he obviously appreciated that. And in reciprocity, he's still feeding me deals to this day. And even when I don't have the bandwidth to do them, I could still give them to my network. And my students are now the byproduct recipient of a relationship that I established 5 years ago. And so when you think about, and they just got a great, I mean, they bought two triplexes, 100 grand a piece. They got to put 60, 70 grand into each one of them. I think ARV was 230, 250. And they're probably going to make 2,700 to 3 grand a month in cash flow. So like, great deals, you know what I mean? And it just all started from building a relationship. And so when we out here and we like, man, I'm struggling to find deals, you know, it was nothing on MLS, blah, blah, blah. It's like, go out here and network and start to build inroads to your business, because our lead generation is the oxygen to our business, right? And so it's not good enough to just say deals aren't on the MLS. Well, what are you doing to also build relationships off of the MLS as well?
It's funny you bring this up. And again, I think the real estate market is on the cusp of changing again, right? We've seen the real estate market change a bunch over the last 3 years. And again, I think it's going to change again with rates over 7. But it's one of the things that even home buyers, I'm even encouraging home buyers to get out of their comfort zone, right? What is a home buyer? A home buyer is somebody that gets a real estate agent, probably someone they know, and they start looking for homes, but it's always on the MLS. I would ask you, if you're a home buyer and you've been struggling to find something, just try to go to a real estate meetup, go to Bigger Pockets, go somewhere, go to Facebook groups, and tell people what your buy box is. You just never know. What's the worst thing that could happen? Nobody reaches out. But it's amazing. Go tell people, I want to buy a single family home or a townhome or a condo in this zip code with these many bedrooms. just see what happens. There are other opportunities. And oh, by the way, you can get a loan on wholesale deals. Not all of them, but on
Right.
some of them. It's worth a shot, don't you think?
For sure, 100%. And so we have relationships with certain lenders in our program that really get the way that we invest. And so even in those transactions where he was the wholesaler to one of my students, they just told him, hey, give us the A to B contracts. We know it's legit. And they paid us wholesale fee and everything. So, there are lenders that get it. They're like, okay, we want to fund deals, and as long as we know that they're not daisy chained and we're not wasting everybody's time and there's clean title, then it's all the same to us.
Yeah, as long as it appraises, it's in quality condition. Yeah, it makes total sense. The other thing that I've often said, and again, I've always admitted this as a mistake for the first year, 5 years, Brian, maybe the first four, if I give myself some slack, I thought the answer lived in my computer. What I mean by that is I thought it was my Excel spreadsheet and the MLS. I thought that was the secret to real estate investing. Now, while that worked and I did okay, our portfolio didn't change. And I wouldn't be here today talking to you if I didn't grow my network. I now tell people, especially in the beginning, even experts, you need to meet 2 new people a week, every week, because that's the currency. That's the oxygen. That's the life preserver when you need one. It's a person, it's a body, it's a relationship. Not enough people take me serious when I say, go meet new 2 people a week. It's really not that hard, but I don't know why people don't want to do it.
Yeah, with social media being what it is today, I find it like 2 people a week, you meet 2 people a day,
You
right?
probably could, yes.
Yeah, I mean, so, but you're 100% correct, Mike. I think we underestimate the power in proximity and the power in relationships, and particularly because I think most of us view that as being hard work,
Well,
right?
it's either hard work or competition. Both are not true, but that's what I think. It's either, hey, it's hard work or they're my competition. You and I are go givers. We just keep giving and giving and giving. We don't treat anybody like competition. We might like the same deal, but so what? Next time you might help me. It's
For
crazy.
sure, for sure. I mean, and so much so, right? Quintessential example of that is we openly talk about deals in our market, whether it be
Yeah.
Detroit or yours in Fresno. And like, if we were trying to keep it away from people, then we wouldn't talk about it, right? I
Yeah.
just
It'd be
told.
some nondescript city in California. What?
Exactly.
How does that help anybody? Yeah. It's pretty crazy. But you're absolutely right. I do think relationships are the currency or the oxygen of this business. It's not about the property. It's
No,
about everything else around it.
100%. And if you really get that, I promise y'all, for everybody listening to this, you won't struggle to find deals. Deals will find you frequently.
It's the momentum. It's the effort. If you give and you give enough, it's weird how it works. It just comes back.
For sure.
And over the last decade, I've gotten more deals from my network than the MLS. And I look at the MLS every day. I looked at it again this morning.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how this system works. Brian, if somebody wanted to follow you or figure out more about all these courses you have going on, how would they do that?
Go to Brian Adamson Real Estate on YouTube, and I appreciate all the ORAT followers that's been coming over and subscribing. I love talking to y'all and meeting you guys. So keep that coming, and then you can go to Brian Adamson Official on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.